Tell me, what's the lowdown with this air conditioning thing?
Oh, you mean Rx11 flush?
Today's comfort cooling market is moving rapidly to R410A systems in new residential and light commercial applications. This ultimately entails retrofitting existing applications to R410A equipment, requiring the replacement of line sets as some manufacturers recommend, or the flushing of the line sets where they cannot be replaced. In fact, flushing is rapidly becoming the preferred method as it is economical, efficient, and effective. The reason flushing is becoming so popular is because replacing line sets is expensive, labor-intensive, and sometimes nearly impossible to do. When line sets cannot be changed out, many equipment manufacturers recommend the use of Rx11 flush. The industry standard for flushing after burnouts, Rx11 flush economically removes residual mineral oil and other contaminants from the existing line set. It properly prepares the lines for the new oil and refrigerant that will minimize callbacks due to a plugged metering device. In this video, we will demonstrate how quick and easy it is to use Rx11 flush. 1. De-energize all of the electrical leads and safely secure them. 2. Recover the existing refrigerant from the system. 3. Cut out and remove the condensing unit. 4. Remove the filter dryer from the liquid line if it exists outside the condensing unit. 5. Remove the evaporator coil, including the old metering device. Establish one end of the line set as the exit point. And wherever possible, flush from an indoor location to an outside ventilated area. Once this is established, crimp or restrict the discharge port to generate turbulence and surface contact time of Rx11 flush as it passes through the line. In addition, have a waste container at the exit point to capture the contaminated flushing solvent. As this solvent exits the system, it will contain residual oil, moisture, acids, and particulate. While not normally hazardous, such residues need to be captured for proper disposal. Now we are ready to make the connections to flush. Connect the injection valve to the canister of Rx11 flush, being sure the injection valve knob is turned counterclockwise in the closed position. Connect one end of the Rx11 flush hose to the injection valve and the other end to the Rx11 flush gun. You will use a nitrogen purge of no more than 120 psi as a separate step after flushing with Rx11 flush. Do not use a manifold set or other charging hoses. We want to emphasize that you should never connect the Rx11 flush canister in conjunction with any simultaneous use of nitrogen. If the system or line set was leak checked with nitrogen earlier, be sure it is depressurized and open to atmosphere. Use the Rx11 flush gun and Rx11 flush hose to manually inject the Rx11. When ready to inject Rx11 flush, open the injection valve to allow the flush to enter the charging hose, using the flush gun to inject the flush into the line set. The amount of Rx11 flush needed to adequately clean and flush a line will vary due to oil load and line configuration. However, in a typical application, the following guide can be used. Up to 1/2 inch tubing uses a 20 to 30 second burst of Rx11 flush through each line for every 50 feet. This would represent a typical residential retrofitter flushing, and the popular 1 pound canister of Rx11 flush can be expected to flush line sets on 1 to 2 retrofits. The 2 pound canister will flush 4 to 5 retrofits. On systems using up to a 7/8 inch line, use a 60 to 90 second burst of Rx11 flush through each line for every 50 feet. Now that the Rx11 flush is in the system, it is very important to proceed with a nitrogen purge. Follow the Rx11 flush with 120 psi compressed nitrogen to increase mass flow for maximum cleaning. The nitrogen will push the flush through the entire system, agitating it and scrubbing the inside of the system. Observe the flushing residue being captured by the receiving container. If it is running clean and clear, the system has been successfully flushed. If the solvent is murky or still contains particulate, flush again. Generally, the nitrogen purge should continue for 30 to 60 seconds after remaining liquid exits the line. Now that your system is clean and free of contaminants, you can continue with the retrofitting process using good service practices. Part of this will involve proper evacuation of the system, which will boil off any residual flush remaining in the system. Unlike other flushes in the market, Rx11 Flush has an optimal boiling point that allows for solvency but complete removal through evacuation without leaving any residue. In addition, Rx11 Flush is non-flammable and non-toxic and has been used in numerous applications for many years. It is time-tested and the most trusted flush in the industry, backed by the endorsement of many OEMs. Rx11 Flush. Contractors trust it and OEMs recommend it.